let's get this started. I need a joke. Accio good grade. Here, let's make myself look funnier. I'm already wearing a Minion shirt, so that should probably help out. Halloween Minion shirt at that. Oh, well, looks like wearing a pair of glasses. Not meant for your prescription over a pair of glasses. That's already kind of bad for your prescription. It's not a good combination. Alright, here, let me bring this closer. Alright, space. Conspiracies. Moon landing. All these things have something to do with each other. There are several things about the moon landing back in 1969 that made some tinfoil... I can't believe I wrote this. That made some tinfoil hat wearing folk like to consider the fact that the moon landing was faked. I don't know why, but they do. Some of which are possible. Some possibilities are the fact that there were strings on actors' suits and not real space suits. It's strings, and and there are shadows on the moon, and the flag was waving, So, coincidentally, all three of those things are things that I'm gonna teach you. So, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm wearing a Minion shirt. I mean, that should explain most of it. I mean, I'm trying to be funny and it's just not working. So, let's start with the strings. Now, you see, people think that the strings, what I'm talking about, are like, to give the appearance of them bouncing on the moon. They think that there are strings connected to suits, or the spacesuits, on a set. Now, you see, the thing that people mistake for strings are actually the antennae on the back of the spacesuit. You know, like they have the big, like, super heavy box in the back, meant for whatever, and then there's like the antennae, most likely meant for communication. Yeah, they think it's strings. So, I don't know. Next were the shadows. So people think that the reason that I haven't even memorized this, I'm just kind of like, this is essentially just for me to like, oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this. Scripts are for losers. Anyways, God, this is a train wreck. People think that the fact that there were shadows cast by the actors' suits on the... So people think that the shadows on the moon were cast by a hanging light on, like, the ceiling or something, and it's just, like, one big stage set. What they fail to realize, though, is the fact that the moon reflects all and any light shined onto it, and the fact that the sun is not the only form of light, because if it was the only form of light in our solar system, then it could make sense as to why are there shadows on the moon, seeing as, you know, the Earth is kind of in between the moon and the sun. So, but, however, they fail to realize the fact that several planets like Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars give off light, and, you know, and also just stars and whatnot in the galaxy. God, I have this weird skin condition. That's too much. What am I... Alright, whatever. Yeah. Where was I? Yep. Reflects sunny on all light. Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars. You know, they give off lots of light. So that it explains as to why there are shadows on the moon. So, yeah. I actually learned this in 3rd grade. So, maybe people back in 1969 through 2016 were just like complete idiots, but I learned that in 3rd grade. So, I don't know what they're teaching back in 1969. They're probably teaching about how communism is bad. I mean, like, That's a relevant topic back in 1969, right? Communism? I don't know. I never learned about that. Schools never taught about that. It's not politically correct. It's not right to teach children about a horrible thing that happened and is still happening currently today. Anywho. However, there's one last piece of evidence that completely proves government wrong. You know, if proven, it can shut down the entire government system, and the most important thing is that it'll prove them wrong. Back in 1969, which, you know, kind of raises the question as to why are people still talking about this. It doesn't prove anything. Well, I mean, it kind of does. It proves that the moon landing was fake, if it is proven, which it most likely is never going to be proven. But, you know, that's just 1969. Like, you need to get over it. You need to stop living in the past, my dudes. You need to stop that. You need to stop that. Oh yeah, the flag waving. So, what people think about the flag waving is that so they would send back pictures or like video of them on the moon, and people realized that when they stuck the flag into the ground, on the moon soil, I guess, it was like waving, you know? It was like waving as if there is wind, which, if, you know, you should know, there is no wind or air in space, so people think it would be impossible for the flag to be waving. This is probably the most ridiculous one, because the thing is, the way a flag would work is that, so it's a piece of, like, it's like cloth, alright? And it's attached to a thin metal pole. And so when you slam that pole into the ground, it, you know, obviously shakes because, you know, the force that you slammed it into the, like, rock solid ground. So, you know, it would wave due to, you know, just like the force and, like, because wind isn't really the thing that starts necessarily, and it's not always the thing that starts the flag. It's not always the thing that starts the flag blowing. It's the thing that can keep the flag blowing, but it's not always the thing that starts it. So what starts it is the force of which, you know, you put it into the ground or you set it down. And, you know, gravity has something to do with that, you know, because, like, if, you know, because they also mentioned the fact that it was sagging down as if there was gravity. And because they failed to understand the fact that on the moon, well, actually, before I say that, let me ask you this. Well, the answer's probably really obvious now. But if I was on the moon and I dropped a basketball, would the basketball just float up into space, or would it fall to the ground? The correct answer is that it would fall to the ground, because the moon does have gravity. It's just a very weak, you know, gravitational force. But it is there, meaning that things are going to move very slowly, but they are still going to move and have, you know, as if gravity is affecting them, which explains why it was sagging down and why it looked like it was blowing for so long. Because, you know, when you stuck it into the ground, it started moving, and because of the, you know, lack of gravity on the moon, though there is gravity on the moon, the weaker gravitational force, I should say, it essentially just caused the flag to wave longer, you know, for a longer amount of time. So, yeah, you know, things move slowly, kind of like my channel growth. Anyways, I know this seemed kind of boring, except, you know, for the fact that I'm a perfect being. Oh God, I am a perfect being, and there is no room for improvement. And you should feel glad that I learned you something. Since it's just an educational video, not a, well, it is kind of educational, I guess. Because you learn something about gravities and moons. Since it is kind of an educational video, I'm supposed to say something informative at the end. So, like everyone else does. So, remember, kids, A's before bays.